Good day, everyone. We've got another Mod Monday for us today, and in today's episode, we are looking at the Allis Chalmers, and specifically, we are looking at our Allis Chalmers in the 140 to 180 horsepower, and the model specifically is the 7000 series. Now you got the 7045, you got the 7050, 7060, and the 7080. And so that the last two digits kind of give you an idea of the horsepower rating there. So 45 being 145 horse, the 50 being 150. You know, it's give or take a few, but you guys get the idea. I gotta show you guys these tractors because there's a few really key differences, and we need to get right into things. So starting it off, we're gonna go with the 7045, and this here is the way the mod comes. I have not done any changes to it. The tires, the exhaust, everything is standard. Cab, everything is standard, and I think it's a pretty nice looking mod. It seems to be pretty well done. You know, you got your fuel filters, oil filters, even your fuel caps. Everything looks pretty darn good. This is the newer cab, so this one would have been late 70s, early 80s. So you got your slow moving sign here, 3-point. It looks like it's got two service remotes here. It's got the pin. Everything is pretty straightforward, right? Backup work lights. Yep, not much to say other than this tractor's been designed pretty darn good. And if you look, there's bolt holes on the frame here, which probably would have accommodated a loader. Although I don't think that we have a loader option on this tractor, which is a shame. It would be lovely to see. Double batteries, you know, that's something you don't see in a lot of mods. And it looks like it has room to add another 2 batteries if you lived in a cold climate and you needed the extra cranking power. Even the ground going up to the frame, you know, that's a really cool touch. Now, the reason you see these 2 modern tractors parked up next to it is because these are the modern equivalents. So you got 145 horse on both the case. The 115, it's about 145 horse. And you got the 6S 135, which is about 140 horse. I elected to go with something that had no front weights on it, even though this tractor can accommodate front weight. But I just wanted to have this tractor as a complete stock tractor, nothing added. Then we get to the 7080, which is the top of the horsepower class. You can see it's got interesting turf tires that we added. We added some duals in the back, painted the rims black, and this one has a different cab configuration. So this is the earlier, this is kind of that 1960s to 1970s cab configuration. If you don't know what the difference is, you see how there's this triangle right where those work lights are? This was a bit of an earlier configuration. Once we park the 2 tractors side by side, it's going to make a whole lot more sense for you guys. And now we have the full weights in the front, so that should help out a little bit. And yeah, there is about 19 different options of exhaust. So I just chose a gold-plated straight pipe exhaust for this one, just to kind of show something different. And a lot of the exhaust options have to do with a pipe coming out of the front of the hood here. In fact, I can show you on the 45. You see this pipe here? This is the air intake, essentially before the air filter. And you have the choice of no pipe, a short pipe, or a long pipe, which is about as long as that exhaust. And you can have ones with a muffler, just like this one has, or you can have straight pipe. You can have a gray or silver muffler, and also even gold plated like this one. So I would probably end up taking a lot of time showing you every single exhaust. I think you guys get the gist of what we're doing here. And once again, the two tractors that are parked up by the side, these would coordinate very well with the 7080 as far as modern horsepowers, with the case 145 being about 180, as well as that 6S in the 180. All very, very similar horsepower class. Now the startup is rather quiet, I notice, but when we start to accelerate, it seems like it's got quite the throaty turbo sound to it, which I think is rather cool. I am not opposed to that at all. So let me show you an example of what we're dealing with. You can hear that turbo whistle right away. But we've got bigger fish to fry than just listening to the sound of it. So we need to test with our standard test meters here. We are going to test the tractor to see how well it pulls 8,000 liters. And I have no doubt in my mind that it should be able to pull this wagon without any trouble. I mean, this is 140 horse we're talking here, right? So here we go. It's got some pretty short, crisp shifts. It looks like only a 4-speed. It doesn't have a really high top-end speed, but this thing sure goes. You know, I don't think we need to hook up the 80 horse or 180 horse for this, because as we can see, it can pull 8,000 liters beautifully. No problem whatsoever. Now obviously I can't use that gooseneck tipper, but luckily for us we do have the other tipper, which is off of the hitch, and so we're going to hook up to that one. And here we don't have any front weight, and you can see the tractor takes it pretty well just hooked up. So we unhook. Yes, the tractor gets lifted up. That happens a lot with this wagon. But when we put the weight on there, the tires don't squat or anything. So that's pretty promising. And now we're dealing with 30,000 liters. So let's give this a crack, see what happens. No, it almost sounded like the AI misshifted there a little bit. But still no problem. It pulled it all right. There is no problem here. Seems like it's doing its job really, really well. Even turning, it seems to have a good handle on the trailer. It's even during turns, it's not spooling down too far. It's not losing too much momentum. That is good. This is what we like to see. So I guess it goes without saying we don't need to try the 180 horse, as this tractor has proven it is quite capable. But don't worry, the 180 horse has something coming for it yet. We are just getting started here. Now as far as mowing goes for the Agco there, or the Allis Chalmers, it's not going to work to have a 3-point on the front, because they don't offer any 3-point options on that tractor like this one has. So what you see is basically just the weight bar on the front with different size weights, or no weight bar at all. There is no 3-point option, so there's no front PTO, which is a little disappointing, but at the same time it's alright. So your options for mowing, honestly, you have got basically, you know, any small mower like this disc spine here. You got a side mower for 80 horse. You can use these bat wings, but I don't know if you really want to do that and still have a strip left over in the middle. You got this mower here, which again, it mows the entire width, good for 7.3, and this is about 180 horse, so you're going to want that top end tractor. There you have one that's just for the front, which you could put on the back of your 3-point. And you can see, you know, this one here is also just a front mount. You got front mount, and you got this disc spine here for 90. And then here we're into water equipment. Or you could go with a very simple cutter like the old-fashioned side cutters like these, the sickle mower. So you won't have too many options as far as mowing goes, especially with all of these batwing ones that we all look at. There's probably mods out there for better mowers than what we have available to us today, but it'll be up to you to choose. Now, as far as rakes go, every size rake works. Even at the low class, like the 140, this rake is the widest rake I have in my arsenal here, and it pulls this no problem. Like, we are under, basically our horse's weight. Our tractor is overrated, much more horsepower than what this rake really needs. It is worth mentioning though that this rake will overpower this tractor because it doesn't have wheel weights, it doesn't have front weights or anything like it. So it does push this tractor around a little bit. It says field not owned. Yes, isn't that absolutely hilarious? Oh, fine. If it thinks it's not owned, then we'll just do it ourselves. And you can see the tractor powers this rake just beautifully by itself. It has a good top speed for raking, no problem whatsoever. So you shouldn't have any problem with raking with this tractor, other than the fact that this rake in particular happens to be rather massive and probably a little bit bigger than what you're used to seeing. Now, as for bales, this tractor seems to be pretty well suited for round bales, I would say. Round balers normally coming in kind of that 140 to 150 horsepower. I think that the tractor is really well suited to it, so you might find that this tractor might be your baling tractor, because round bales especially seem to be right around that horsepower range. So the 145 might be a little bit on the low side, but you can get that 150 or the 160 or even the 180, and then you should have no problem. The square balers, they normally tend to be a little over 200 horsepower, so your tractor just might be a tad under horse rating, so just be mindful of that. And other than that, yeah, let's see what it takes to bale. So I'm gonna get the biggest bales possible. And yes, we can see there's definitely power, and let's go make some bales. See if we can't get ourselves a nice little round bale just to try this thing out. This baler does have auto dump, so when you hear that beep, you better start. Well, you better stop, because there's a bale that's coming, definitely. But no, this thing seems to power the baler alright. It's just flying along at good speed there. And I'm just going to finish off making one more bale here with some remnants of whatever I have. So yeah, baling is definitely a viable option for this tractor. I don't think you guys will have any problem with that. I think this is definitely good for that, you know, first or second tractor on the farm, and you're just kind of stepping it up a little bit. This will definitely be the go-to tractor for you guys. I have no doubt in my mind. Now, normally I would hook up to this cultivator next to, you know, test if it could actually cultivate, but this one is, you know, generally only requires about 30 horsepower or so. We're talking well over 100 horsepower here that we have extra, so that will never do for this test. What we're going to do instead, we will take a cultivator here rated for about 150 horsepower. I think this one should show us a lot more of a conclusive look at our cultivator power. See if we can actually cultivate with this tractor or not. I think I just want to turn over a little bit more. There we go. So, can this thing cultivate? You know, now we're talking about earth engaging type of power here. So we're going to hire worker and let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, even though this is 160 or 150 horsepower that it requires, you can tell right away that this thing is not bothered at all. It moves pretty darn quick. There should be no problem. So you can probably go a little higher than your normal horsepower rating just to, you know, do a little fun cultivating. Normally I like to give this little disc a test too because it's just a drawbar type. Again, it's only for about 30 horsepower. So instead of doing that, we are going to go with this plow. This appears to be a 5-share plow. And we got the 45 hooked up ready to go. Why don't we start it up? And we'll hire a worker right away. And let's see if we can actually plow a field with this. It definitely pulls a little more now, doesn't it? About 9, which is kind of what I expected. But it is just chugging right along. I mean, we could probably do faster if we had the 180 horse tractor, but this is no slouch either. And again, this plow is for about 160 horsepower rating, and the 145 is doing just beautifully. Great sound effects by the development team, whoever made this tractor. The pulling power on this tractor sounds fantastic. I have no problem with that. It sounds like the tractor is really working, and that is just awesome. I do want to take the 180 horse on a little plowing challenge here too, but I figured now was my chance to kind of show you guys the difference in the cab configuration. So you can see how the 140 has a, oh, there you go. And the 140 has a straight cab at the front where the work light is, and the 180 has kind of that jutted out triangle. In fact, if you look up by the hood, you can actually see it a lot better versus how the 140 has it. So I'm guessing this old cab configuration was just to give a little more room for the feet or for any hydraulic components, what have you. Other than that, I think they're very, very similar. I think the roof may have changed just a touch. This one, because it has duals, it has the flashing lights. That one there, it has them on a bar, whereas the 45 doesn't have that. But we got to put this thing to the plow. This one has the weights built right on the front mount, so we need to go take this to the plow and see if it could do more than 9 clicks an hour. Now obviously if we were doing a real plowing challenge, we wouldn't have duals. We'd rather have duals one side and single on the other if we're doing a real plowing challenge. But yeah, it looks like 9 is kind of the top speed for the plow. Oh, sorry, I said too much. 12. Oh, isn't that fancy? So just know that if you guys do buy this tractor and you want to plow, higher horsepower definitely means more speed, and therefore the field gets done a little quicker. But this thing is just clipping right along, not a problem at all. It's yeah, it's a great tractor for plowing, that's for sure. It's doing its job beautifully. I have no complaints at all. Now, as far as the interior goes, like the cab design and all that, they are 100% identical. What you see is pretty much the same no matter if you have the old cab configuration or the new cab configuration. The seats, the controls, door panels, everything is all alike. There is no difference from one to the other. But that pretty well concludes today's episode, so it wasn't quite as long as sometimes. I do tend to get excited when I see these tractors, and they really appeal to me. Now, I do have to say I am a huge Agco fan, so Allis Chalmers is part of the Agco brand, and so I knew I had to do this mod review. And I will say I am pretty pleased with this tractor. I think this is a pretty solid all-arounder. I think that for a lot of farms, especially those that are doing the Let's Plays and the playthroughs, you know, much like I do, I think that this would definitely be a solid second or third tractor going through your lineup. And I think it's going to meet and exceed everything that you need it to do. I think that they pretty well are able to do whatever you want as long as you don't need a front 3-point hitch. And speaking of front 3-point hitch, I do have this modded front 3-point hitch, but it does not connect to the tractor. So just be mindful of that. There is another one very similar to this, but it's a Massey Ferguson front hitch. I have not tested that one, so you may want to try and see if that doesn't work for you. But other than that, yeah, I think we are done. I would like to thank you guys for watching this episode of Mod Mondays, and yeah, let's hopefully see you around again. Thank you to everyone who watched, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.